Yo, alright there. So listen, we've been here before. If you see on the screen, that's Warren Smith on the left there from he's got his own channel, the Secret Secular Society. And he's made plenty of videos about the other two people on the screen, which is Dr. Laurie Mulvey and I think Professor Sam Richards, and their husband and wife, I think. And they run a sociology course at Penn State University, and it's streamed live. Now I think all universities should have to do that, possibly with maybe 3 or 4 courses a month. That should just be standard procedure. Why would you not want to do that? Here's your opportunity to advertise your university, advertise the quality of the courses and the lectures and the engagement with the staff. But it makes you question why universities don't do it. And I think you can probably guess why, because most of them are shit. Dreadful. They've just had a 20-minute conversation about critical thinking, about logic, about how the space of discourse, where people get their news from, how they interpret it, according to what criteria they interpret it and choose it. It was an adult conversation about information and communication. And so it's quite, this whole thing is quite an interesting sort of nexus of many cultural lines of force that are all crossing in one place. And because I've seen Warren's video, and I've just noticed the way he's holding that microphone, which is making me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Although the way Laurie's holding hers is making me feel a bit more comfortable. I've got an idea of where this goes. So let's roll VT and see what we can get out of it. Roll VT.
Sorry, yeah. You said that you value autonomy in your thought, but all you really do in your videos, which you post nearly every day, is react to Joe Rogan podcasts, which doesn't really sound like individual thoughts to me. So can you comment on that?
What a horrible young man. Warren Smith makes, I know roughly how many videos he makes because he mentioned it on his videos. He says it's probably about 2 a month of Joe Rogan videos, but he doesn't do it to get into what Joe Rogan thinks. Joe Rogan's strength is letting his guests talk and just sort of, keep them in line so they can stay on a thread. Joe Rogan has, he gets the best guests because it's like the biggest podcast in the world. That's why you would use the Joe Rogan podcast. And Warren says it's probably about 2 a month. Weird that this kid should start aggressive. All you seem to do is react to Joe Rogan podcasts. And there was that other weird bit, uploading videos, which you seem to do almost every day, which you kind of have to if YouTube is your job. The algorithm kind of necessitates that you just keep going, just keep that content coming. So an aggressive, unnecessary, not a question about critical thinking or logic. He brought autonomy into it at the end there to make it sound good. He probably learnt that word yesterday. Unpleasant. Young people aren't that nice. They're bitter. It's almost like this generation is resentful of the future they haven't had yet, which is a shame. So anyway, let's see what happens.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, no. If we were to look at it, now and then I will cover a Joe Rogan interaction. I think the last one was Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. It might be, if we were to...
I think that's fair enough. Like, if Elon Musk is on Joe Rogan and your channel is about things, big happenings in the world, then Elon Musk he's kind of up there. I think it's fair to say Elon Musk holds some relevance.
Actually go through the numbers, it's probably more accurate, like maybe twice a month. If there were more interesting exchanges, I would definitely delve into it. I don't know what I'm going to cover tomorrow. There's interesting moves being made here. It might be on Joe Rogan, it might not be. But
how weird for that kid to say that you just react to Joe Rogan almost every day. That's not true. It's untrue. It's a lie. What makes you as a person happy to put forth a proposition that isn't true, and that Warren can just say that that's not actually the case? And if you have a look, and if anyone else here or anyone else watching wants to check it out, you'll see that that's patently deceptive. Why would you do that? Just to get a bit of time on the microphone? I'd hope it was something more than that. Mate, sorry, someone's revving up their motorbike because they've got a small wiener.
But what was the second part of that? You said, so I don't have full autonomy because I'm covering Joe Rogan too much?
Well, you create your own content, but you don't really give your own thought, at least from what I've seen. I mean, granted, I only watch a few minutes out of each of your videos while I've been sitting here.
These are the leaders of the future, people. These are students. People who go to university on so many metrics will tend to do better in life. They'll earn more. They'll get better jobs. Not always, of course, it's a bell curve. But this fool has just admitted that everything he knows about Warren's channel he's just skipped through on his phone for a couple of minutes, and he's already questioning Warren's autonomy. Now, if in that couple of minutes he'd found something that did allow him to question Warren's autonomy, he could have named it, he could have mentioned it, he could have said, well, I just looked at this and you said, and actually had some kind of hypothesis that exposed Warren as lacking autonomy, but he didn't. This is embarrassing, and I'm glad it will be on the internet forever, and hopefully, miraculously, this child will learn something.
But I have gone through minutes out of each of your videos while I've been sitting here. But I have gone through a year or so through the videos, and I've seen the titles of them. You don't necessarily give your own thought. You don't.
I've read the titles of your videos, and you don't give your own thoughts. Warren's videos are all about logic, critical thinking, and truth. They are his thoughts. How to think critically, how to approach something in the pursuit of truth. Just scrolling through it blows my mind that someone can, I don't know whether it's confidence. I just could never do that. Maybe I did when I was young and I've just forgotten. I mean, maybe I'm doing it now, and in 10 years I'll look back at this and go, oh, I don't think so though. I think this kid is just trying to, one of the problems with your videos being streamed live is he knows he can get a bit of airtime, and if he nails it, he might become famous. He might become an influencer, and all these people, they love that. Yeah, feed me attention, even though what I said has totally humiliated myself.
Really, comment on anything that's, of substance that other people haven't mentioned themselves. So I don't.
That's fair.
I don't really consider you an influencer, but really a commentator.
I would like to not think of myself as an influencer either.
Call himself an influencer either.
No, but if you look at, because I try, and when I'm watching these dynamics, I'm trying to identify the moves.
come on, Warren, I know you're a nice guy and that, but just say, hang on a minute, mate, you've scrolled through my videos, you've accused me, you've made it sound like an accusation, you're more of a commentator than an influencer. Oh no, the shame. Ridiculous. And Warren, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just conjecture, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Richards and Laurie there said to him before this, remember, these are first year bachelor students. They're not that bright, so go easy on them. Because if I was there, and I was Warren, and I made Warren's content, I sort of do, steal it, I would say, mate, are you really gonna base an argument on a couple of minutes scrolling through your phone in a lecture theatre? Can you give me one example? And he's not, and it's a shame. But I think he probably had a talking to, because otherwise that kid is absolutely humiliated. If Warren says to him, "Give me one example of where I'm not adding something to the content that I'm using," because that bloke will go, "No, like I said, I've just flicked through it and scrolled through years of videos," and then everyone's like, next question. So Warren's, he's trying to, he's playing the game, trying to be nice, and maybe that's why he's a lecturer and I'm not. I was at one time, and yeah, it didn't go too well. But he understands that the kid's stupid and needs to learn.
Can I just ask you to back up?
When I'm watching these dynamics, I'm trying to identify the moves.
Can I just ask you to back up because can you just say what you're doing? Because not everyone would know. What are you trying to do?
I'm making it up as I go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I see something interesting, I'm like, oh, this is the move here. I see a logical flaw here. This is why, at some points, this is where I think that logic is wrong. So the last video, for example, which was of this class, it was talking about the flaws of equity specifically. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Sam interjected those arguments. If you watch that video, the argument being made are the points where I disagree with equity.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, can I just further clarification? So you're saying anything you could possibly see in the online space, you would say, something could stimulate a thought.
Yeah,
it
2 videos ago was a magician claiming to be able to read people's body language and deduce a PIN number. You're right, he did appear on Joe Rogan a few months ago, but that video, Joe didn't, it doesn't matter if Joe's in it or not, but it could be a magician. It's thinking critically. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, that's quite an interesting little laugh there, because Warren knows that that's the one thing that this student failed to do.
I use the tag, the art of thinking critically, right? Well, it's thinking for yourself.
And I'm not going to do it in this space, because I'm not going to do that with students. I'm not going to break down people's arguments. Yeah.
And there you go, he's nailed it. He said it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to break down. I'm not going to say what is wrong. Why what you've said has no value with critical and logical thinking. He's just not going to do that. And that, it's kind of fair enough, actually, because I'd be brutal. I would just tell this kid, I'd straight away, you can't build an argument on nothing, mate. What have you just said? It's ridiculous. And then he probably wouldn't talk again, and all the other students would laugh at him, and they'd probably have a terrible time at uni and maybe leave. And he might have a decent brain in there somewhere, and he needs teaching. And what is teaching? It's learning how to think critically. That's what you teach. There's teaching of information as well. But when you're providing students with information, where did that information come from? Who wrote it? What was their biases? Why did they write it? When did they write it? And all those other things that come with it. And it's interesting that Sam there has answered my question. That's why they don't do that. And they would have had, I can't guarantee it, but they would have probably spoken to Warren before this and said, don't drill into them, they're kids. Look at husband and wife. He's got his 2 gold earrings. She's still got her 1968 Night of the Barricades flares on. You know, I bet they get home biffed, reading Baudelaire to each other before a passionate. I don't even want to think about the rest of that story. Roll VT.
You're commenting and doing what we mostly don't do when we're in face-to-face places, but we do in these online spaces where we.
She said do.
Comment directly on what we like and don't like about what people say and do, right? So that's unusual and rare for someone to do it just in voice. And so
it's great. No,
yeah.
It shouldn't be rare. I mean, I'm used to it because I am on these. So to me, that's not rare.
So we want to talk about this whole phenomenon of commenting and what does that mean and what does it produce and what should it produce? And so do you want to just kick anything off from that?
Should what produce?
The commenting, this reaction to content, to people, to behavior.
Yeah, that for me is feedback. You know, I'm people say don't read the comments, but I do think it has a lot of utility, honestly. And so, yeah, I've seen that comment will pop up, you know, and there's parts of me that's like...
Wait, hang on, though. But, bro, you said...
Bro.
I just scrolled through a few of your videos right now, right?
Which is awesome.
Yeah, but
this is
Oh, wow, she softened it up. Amazing. He caught, you know, what a weird couple. A working dynamic. He called it out. He softened it himself. Hey, bro. Hey, friend, pal, mate. You know, you just flicked through it, and she says, "That's awesome." You know, she's trying to keep him sweet. She doesn't want him to feel that he's the fool that he is for not only admitting that but actually doing it. Let's have a look at that little bit again where he called him out and she softened it. It's a nice moment.
You said I just scrolled through a few of your videos right now, right?
Which is awesome.
Yeah, but this is like what, in like 5 minutes? In 5 minutes, you already made a comment by just scrolling through some videos right now, and I'm like, yo, dog, man. You can't make a comment after that.
Why not?
But you did, which is good. That's fine.
Yeah, look, she says, why not? Why not?
But that comment is like the comment that we leave online to some video. Like, people will watch 30 seconds of one of my videos, and then they make a comment about it. I'm like, dude, that was 30 seconds.
And
man.
so, and this is getting into not only the conversation we were having, and this isn't just about you, so sorry.
Yeah,
All right, when she says this isn't just about you, that means this is about you. All right? Well, if you need to say it, there's a reason you need to say it.
And this isn't just about you, so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But what
no,
is...
this guy, he can handle it. He's good.
Amazing, he can handle it. There's this sort of feminine, masculine sort of thing going on between them two while he's... Yeah, drop your head, mate, in shame.
What is one of the things that we want to just be thinking about is what is the difference between social behavior in person and social behavior online? And what does that mean? And what is that doing to us now as humans, that we have this place where we're so direct and so willing to say things that we would say don't even read people's comments, but yet in person, it's so rare that somebody says something directly to someone, or else it's a fight. Maybe that's part of the reason.
And in my experience in life, the conversations that are worth having, the people that I want to listen to, are the people who don't stick to those conventions of politeness and tact. You know, it's dull, it's boring, it's just chit chat. There is a place for that, but you know, if I'm out for the night and someone sits next to me at a bar, and they just go in hard. The harder they go in, the more interested I am in talking to them, because our culture, our society is doing its best. I mean, when I say I'm not suggesting the world is a machine that's trying to drain us of intellectual rigour, although, again, if it needs saying, but, you know, and I get really, really disappointed when I'm in a conversation with someone and they just, I can tell that they're agreeing with me because they don't want the conversational confrontation. And that's a shame, because what you're doing there is you're jettisoning your self for politeness and tact, for social conventions. No, it's not the thing to do to call someone out for what they've said. It's not the thing to do to put aside someone's feelings and target in on the truth. That's not a thing. Yeah, what a shame.
It's not. I really don't think it's a fight. Honestly, it shouldn't. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't bother me, because honestly, you're going to detect that pattern where most of the time it is someone who's just, no offense, but has watched a minute and making an observation, and that's. So you're not going to take that personal, and it's fine. It's not going to. We're all adults. This does tie into how our conversation began. After Charlie Kirk made that video, and I shared my thoughts on there, and I don't want to blur. The student came up to me right before class and said, like, I gained a lot from those comments. Like I don't. That's her mind might have changed. I don't want to put her on the spot, but she was like, "Thank you for." I haven't grappled in it in that way. I think that's an example of how this new technology has utility in education.
Listen, no, I get that from students who come up here, and sometimes they stumble and they say something they wish they didn't say, or sometimes they just having the experience up here. But they're always really thankful to have had the opportunity to put themselves out there, man. And that's what we're doing in this world.
Yeah, I disagree with him. I fundamentally disagree with the premise that it's a good thing to just put yourself out there. Forget the content of what's being put out there, but just the opportunity to, say something. No. If you've got nothing, if what you're saying is not worth saying and cannot be defended, is not critical, is not logical, why should you just say it? What value does that? What value does that add to society? And what Sam Richards has just said there is, this is a participation trophy. Well done for talking. Is that where we are as a culture, where students, in that seminar you said something. I mean, it was bullshit. It was ridiculous, but you spoke. Now, maybe in a special school or a school of mute people, and I'm not taking the piss here. This is absolutely serious. That would be something. Is this a special school? Are these mute people? Do they choose to not speak? No. So you don't get Sam Richards with your little gold earrings, and I do respect him. I respect him for doing this, but I don't respect him for saying well done for saying something. No, absolutely I don't. That is weak. That is weak, and it's a sign of a weak civilization, and it's a sign of a weak education system. And what is the education system if not the gears and the grease of that civilization's future?
Putting ourselves out there, that's what we're doing in this world, putting ourselves out there and being willing to hear other people's reflections on what it is that...
Right, the sound has gone out of sync. That's not me. I just want to clarify that. That's not me fucking up. That's them.
we think. And man, there is nothing more valuable or powerful than that. In like challenging ourselves and testing our thoughts out in the world, and which is your work.
But is that what it feels like most of the time? I don't spend a lot of time getting comments, making comments. So, but is that what it feels like? Does it feel like to most people that if you put content out and you get comments back, you feel like you're getting feedback, you're learning?
I think it's going to vary on comment. Now, I have not been they're on the receiving end as the student, right? So yes, this is an audience that they're there to watch because they enjoy the content already. It might be very different for if a student comes up here and a knucklehead like me comes along and shares my thoughts on it, and then a million people say, or 500,000 or whatever it is, and then some comments are going to be more strongly worded than others. The question is am I doing something wrong by making that video, which was a real question I had to ask myself in the wake of that video, because there was concern of
And it's interesting, actually, and this is why the whole censorship of comments. I have people on my videos saying, my comment has been deleted 3 or 4 times. I don't delete comments. I don't delete critical comments. Anyway, if it's someone advertising their channel or, just using my comments as a springboard for them to do something, or porn or something, yeah, I will delete, but I don't delete critical comments. But apparently it would appear that YouTube does. I mean, let me know in the comments if you've had comments deleted. And if you have, and if that does happen, and if that is a thing, then who's controlling the discourse? Is university, is education controlling it? Is the media controlling it? Is YouTube controlling it? YouTube is the second biggest, most used search engine after Google. Just think about that. It's not a search engine. It's a video hosting platform. So who is controlling the information, the interpretation of information, etc., etc.?
And what we're doing here is very important. And don't jeopardize that. And I'm just thinking, I have to ask myself, am I doing something that could cause this to be shut down? Because if one day, and I told Sam this, if one day someone does come along like they did with me and to shut this down, it will be over hurt feelings from comments. Probably not even anything they can point to. They probably won't even have an example. It will be the potential of what a student might see. And I think that's nonsense. I think you can handle it. It's going to make you stronger in the long run.
And wait, there's some other questions or comments? Yeah.
I just had an interesting perspective and thoughts. So with everything.
So this girl turns up frequently in these videos. She's one of the ones who's chasing a bit of fame. She's always got a lot to say, but so many words, yet so few meanings.
Thing that you're saying where you don't really care if I'm misspeaking. You just said a little bit ago you don't really care about the politics of it and you're not trying to push a specific agenda, correct? Like in the videos you've made.
It's not political for me. There are principles in the world that I think are important, but it's not about getting a politician elected or representing the Republican line.
But there are principles of
like equity, I think, is a very bad idea, and I can break down those reasons.
Yeah, but also.
So in the name of that, wouldn't you say that the titles to a lot of your videos do kind of allude to the support of one side or the other?
And this is fair.
And in the sense of like bolding liberal exposed or conservative exposes left.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the YouTube beast. That's clickbait used to be a thing that was frowned upon. Now it's almost essential. If you don't use it, you don't get the clicks. Because, this all goes back to middle of the 20th century, Eddie Bernays, Ernest Dichter, the whole depth probing thing, focus groups. And when marketers and advertisers realised, stop trying to engage with people's logical their sort of logical thinking, engage with their emotions, because you can get people to buy stuff easier with their emotions. It's a very simple trick. Convince them they've got a problem, and then solve it for them by buying your product. And the YouTube has realised this years ago. If you make a video where there's a debate between a Republican and a Democrat, and you call that video a debate between a Republican and a Democrat, right? That's what it is. That's the truth. But if you put Republican destroys Democrat in explosive debate, brackets, don't blink, more people will click on that. It hits them in the emotions. And that, it's ignorant and naive for this girl to think that, well, you do have a political agenda because you said this. He's got to do that. That again, that's the nature of the beast. And again, she's very young, but Warren could answer this in a couple of seconds. Like, do you think people would watch my videos if I just said, here's a conversation where I talk about the logic involved, but let's see how it's handled.
This view,
Yes.
liberal exposed or conservative exposes leftist view.
Yes, this is something I struggle with every time because I'm like, you're playing with this title, and when you get the combination of these silly words correct, it can mean the difference between 1 million people watch the video, 100,000, and then you switch it. People do A/B testing, and then there's the thumbnail. What do I put those 4 words on the thumbnail? Am I misrepresenting the meat and potatoes of the video? But if I don't get that, is it unethical to play with that combination so that people will engage with the meat and potatoes, or do I play it super straight, super accurate, like the way that would be more ethical, but the video?
So that's really interesting, and he's offered her some questions there. Is it ethical to do that? Should I do that? I mean, it is his job. He did get fired from his job by putting a video online where he was teaching a student from it was a school of like troubled kids who'd been kicked out of all the other schools. The student wasn't on the video. The camera was just on Warren. And they fired him. They got shot of him. No, we don't want you talking, because the kid said that Trump was a racist or something like that. And Warren was like, okay, so why is he a racist? And he sort of broke down this very simplistic, because the kids were like, I don't know, 4th graders or whatever. I don't know what that means. We don't have that system in the UK, but like 14 or something. And he got fired for it. So he's just offered her a load of really interesting questions about the ethics of clickbait and how advertising your channel works, which is his job. It's his bread and butter. Now, I haven't seen what happens here. My guess is she won't engage with any of them because she doesn't understand it. I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. It might restore a little bit of faith in students.
Doesn't perform, right? And then there's other considerations, because I am doing this for a living, and there's plenty of criticism that could come with that.
Can we just?
That's a good question.
Can you say your thoughts about it?
Oh yeah, that makes complete sense, and I was taking it into consideration before you explained, because again, if this is how you make your living, it makes sense that you want people's attention to be grabbed when they're clicking on a video.
So you knew the answer to your question. So this is so far. Yeah, I know all that. So I understand how it works and why you do that, which kind of voids my question, right? That's a little bit weird and embarrassing.
Moving farther away from
changing the subject.
The general public, when you're talking to students and when you're making videos about...
She's just abandoned it. She abandoned it. And so this is performance. She's performing, which does tie into this whole debate. She's been live streamed. She's appeared on these videos many times. There is a potential chance that an agency, you know, she's pretty easy on the eye. She's articulate. They'll go to Penn State, try and find her, sign her up, give her a YouTube video, write scripts for her. She knows that, and that's part of this strange new world. So, you know, she didn't really care. She had no investment in her question whatsoever, because when he answered it, she went, "Yeah, I know all that." It's really weird. And now she's barking up another tree. Let's see where she goes.
Students and what they're saying. The general public, when you're talking to students and when you're making videos about students and what they're saying, how do you think it's beneficial for the student? It may be beneficial for you to have that bolded title and for you to have that kind of hook grabber, but people are going to see that and associate it with a college course that they're not in, and then watch parts of the video or all of the video and then lean on your title for the content of your video. Does that make sense?
No, actually, it doesn't. I mean, you've used some words that have got a relationship to each other and a relationship to other things that have been said. But my guess is that now either Warren, his wife, or Sam are going to rearrange those words and put them in some kind of order where they can actually engage with what she said. Because if I was there, I'd say, no, I haven't got a Danny LaRue what you're talking about, darling.
Yeah, I hope that they lean on what they're actually seeing in the video, and I am condensing. We're taking an hour and a half class, and I'm just taking what I think is most interesting and important and condensing that in my perspective down to 10 minutes. And this is a fair criticism that I'm going to always get.
So he's just said what he previously said. All right, people, we'll leave it there. You get the idea. I'll leave a link to the entire video down there. Go and check it out, because this is interesting stuff. And if you've got young children who you're hoping might go to university, and, you know, university's got a terrible reputation at the moment, but it isn't all bad. What I got out of going to university, apart from not having to work for another 6 years after, well, 7 or 8 years after leaving school, was learning how to operate in groups. You know, I learned so much more socializing. I learned a lot about being around people. You know, because they were very different people in different areas at different levels and all sorts of things. And there are still some great tutors out there who are doing their absolute best in very difficult situations, like Warren when he was teaching at his school to teach kids how to think critically, which is it's an essential. It's the fuel of a successful civilization. Look after yourselves and the people you love. Ta-da!
This video, like, share and subscribe. Bye bye.
Sweet.